Hello, welcome back to the channel Tarot Yogi. I'm Vinit, and today we have another timeless pick a card reading on what is being said about you, what is the gossip on you. And even before we begin this reading, I do want to announce that 21st of November, next month, I will be offering my highly anticipated witchcraft course. So if you're interested in learning witchcraft from me, do sign up. You can send me an email to get more details, or you can hit me up on my Instagram. I have uploaded a syllabus video for my witchcraft course, so you can check that out on my channel. And if you are interested in learning astrology from me, I will be teaching that in the coming year, which is going to happen on 31st of January. And mind you, my courses are not like a short course. You will be with me for 2 months. So if you have the time, if you have the patience, if you really want to learn, come learn, be a part of the coven. And I'm also offering personal readings if you would like a personal reading from me. I will also look at your birth chart as a part of the personal reading. And please do like the video, share, subscribe, comment, and now we can begin the reading on what's the gossip on you, what is being said about you. Pile number 1, we have our Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. Pile number 2, we have our Triomphe della Luna Tarot. Pile number 3, we have the Witch's Garden, Tarot of the Witch's Garden. So take a minute, see what pile is being called to you intuitively. The description box below will have the timestamp for your pile. And again, remember, these are general readings. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If you like my style of reading, do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. And if you're interested in getting a personal reading, if you're interested in learning witchcraft, astrology, tarot, definitely send me an email or hit me up on my Instagram, and I will see you guys in your reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, this is your reading on what is being said about you currently, what's the gossip on you. And even before we begin this reading, I do want to announce that 21st of November, I will be offering my witchcraft course. So if you're interested in learning witchcraft, you can definitely sign up. You can check out the syllabus video I have uploaded for my witchcraft course, which is on the channel, and you can send me an email or you can hit me up on my Instagram to get more details. You can do the same if you want to learn astrology from me next year. I will be offering an astrology course in the coming year, 31st of January. And please do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. And you can also reach out if you want a personal reading from me. I will be looking at your birth chart as a part of the reading. And now, let's begin this reading on what is being said about you. What are people saying? Okay, pile number 1, we have the Death card, we have the High Priestess. We have 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, but, well, I said Ace of Wands, but it's Ace of Swords. We have 10 of Wands, and we have the 3 of Cups. What is being said about you is you have a lot of energy to go after the things that actually matter to you now, since I said Ace of Wands at the beginning of the reading. And what people are talking about is this very deep transformation and change that you have gone through with this Death card. And I've kept this as an extra card, but I use it as an extra Death card because of the skull. So people are really talking about this very extreme transformation that you've had to go through. And I don't think it was just an extreme transformation. It was definitely a very spiritual initiation, because you're coming out as the High Priestess. So people are talking about your intuition. People are talking about how you've gotten extremely intuitive, and you already know if someone doesn't have good intentions for you. You've become very good at smelling out, the rats. You become really good at that. And it's not just that, you pay more attention to the detail now. I'm getting this strong 6th house Virgo energy. So there is this perfection and meticulousness in your energy, and that is what is really bringing you all this profit and success right now. And I don't think you're very selfish. People are also talking about how giving you are. People are definitely talking about how you give to the people in need and people that you can help. You go above and beyond to help, and you seem to have good friends, and you have also developed good boundaries. That's what I'm getting over here with the 10 of Wands. I think you've become really good at saying no, knowing only there's so much you can do, and not feeling bad about it. And this is helping you have more output in the world. I think you're naturally being able to be more productive, and I think your productivity levels are going to even shoot up more. And I honestly see you being in the super busy energy where, you just keep working from the time you get up to the time you get to bed. And that's honestly the best thing for you right now. And People are talking about how happy you look, how stable you look, how rich you look, honestly, pile number one. So people are definitely, talking about how you're making good money. And another thing people are saying is you've become very cutthroat. You will do what needs to be done, and not in a way where you're doing underhanded tactics, but there's definitely this ruthlessness to you now. You know, even the people who didn't see you as competition now. So even they are a little wary of you, and as they should be. There's a new lion in the area, and you know, usually it's one or two male lions that protect the whole pride. And when the male lion gets old, you know, and if there's a challenger, the two lions fight, and the one that prevails takes over the whole pride. And I do think you are sort of like that new lion over here, pile number one, that will take over the whole pride. And I know it's a lot of things, but you will be able to juggle. I think you're meant to be very responsible in this life, even if you haven't been very responsible growing up. You're meant to handle a lot of responsibilities in the later half of your life and the older you get. And I do think your responsibilities and just the number of tasks you will have to do are going to increase, but you do have that very Virgo Capricorn energy to get things done. There is that loud, raw ambition within you, and you will be able to, fan its flames to again, reach your full potential with things. So this is meant to be a very busy lifetime for you, and you will find your happiness in being busy. I don't think, even if you love to chill, honestly, pile number one, because I'm getting some 12th house placements, and people who have 12th house placements, they love chilling, and you feel as if you don't have to prove anything, but it's because you're that good. We need more people like you doing more work, especially in the world right now. So you should be super busy. You should not have a minute to rest, honestly. And I'm not telling you money is everything, work is everything, but for you particularly, pile number one, and I do think it's very karmic for you. You're here to get out of your daydreams and get out of your inconsistencies and, just your utopian visions, and get more into the real grounded reality of things and make them in the image that you want them to be, because you have that much power. So your learning and your spiritual growth is going to happen in the material, not in the spiritual. There's a really clear message over here of that, and I do think the more focus is on you doing more masculine things, taking charge, taking action, and being consistent with it, being really consistent with what you have to do, and you will be able to do more, give more. So I do think you have very large destinies, pile number one, that affect a lot of people. You're meant to have a positive effect on a lot of people as you get older, pile number one. And because you will be able to take in so much responsibilities, really sort of, I'm seeing a very Saturnian figure. I'm getting Capricorn a lot in my head right now. So you you could even have your Rahu in Capricorn or in the 10th house, especially in your Navamsha chart, which is your D9 chart in your Vedic astrology. Check that. You know, you will find comfort in the work, not at home, because your Ketu will be in the fourth or in Cancer, I feel. So the restlessness at home, just not feeling at home, not feeling validated, not feeling like you belong, the belonging you will experience in your work and what you have to do. And you're going to be the kind of people, pile number one, where even if you've had a full busy day, you still have to show up and do your job, and you will do it, and you will find joy in it, even if it doesn't sound like you. You're going to become that kind of a person, pile number one, if you already aren't transforming, which I think a lot of y'all are, and this is just confirmation. But I do think a lot of y'all might even get upset in the comments, and honestly, I don't care. But you will be able to see this for yourself. You're coming in a very abundant time in your life because you made it to be so. You have done the hard work of planting the seeds when they need to, sowing the seeds when they have to be sown, and taking care of it day after day in. You know, so I think the more consistencies you have, and I think what is stopping you is maybe your heartbreaks, maybe people who have disappointed you, maybe people who have should have done you better, but they didn't. And I think the more you just accept that and move on, the sooner you will be able to reach your greatness and your full potential and what you're here to do, because people are already talking about it. People are talking about how you're here for the big leagues and how you're already in it, and how it's a new beginning for you and things are only going to improve for you. People are also saying how you really follow your own heart and you sort of inspire people to do the same, especially after some really difficult endings. You know, you show people that there's a higher force truly. There is something beyond that operates, that governs all of us, and is sentient and is loving towards us and is benevolent towards us. If we just do the right thing, and you've always done the right thing, so I would say you're very close to God, pile number one, whether you realize it or not. And I do think divinity is really blessing you right now, and giving you the necessarily lessons also in the earth. Yeah, I'm seeing the devil card, so a lot of this earthly energy, and people get the devil energy wrong. Let's not forget, devil, Capricorn, Kronos, rules over the material world. The 3D is ruled over by Saturn. So the devil is not bad, but he tests you. The devil definitely tests you. And what you do with that energy of creation is up to you. Are you going to use it wisely to create yourself a legacy? Are you just going to squander it? Are you going to be the prodigal son? Right? So it's a choice that you have to make with yourself right now. And you will be making the right choice for sure, because people already see you making the right choice and moving on that path of just immense success. So honestly, people are not really talking about your personal life here, which is great. Maybe a lot of y'all are single, or maybe you're just happy with your partner. People don't really have much gossip to go off or do drama. But I do think you could even have Jupiter in the 10th or Jupiter in Capricorn, especially in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, which is the end degrees of the Capricorn constellation. And that's why we have the horns of the goat. It's a very sacred degree, and it's a very psychic degree. So if you have any planets there, you are one of the best psychics in the whole world. Pile number three, because pile number one, well, since I said pile number three, you might have some messages there, but I'm telling you, those degrees, if you have planets there, you can really see things more than anyone else can. So you're a master, but you're here to serve and be of service to sort of maintain your mastery. Pile number one. So what you're doing is very deep. It's big stuff, and I think the less you get involved in interpersonal things and other people's nonsense, the easier your life will be. Pile number one. I really feel that is the message over here, and everything that you want will be given. Everything that you want is already yours. You just have to take on the leadership role that you're always meant to follow. I'm also getting Saturn and Aries. You could have your Saturn in the first house or Aries. It could be debilitated and the whole deck fell. We have a bunch of cards that just fell when I was taking the deck. So we have Cavalcade, we have card number 48, 38, 35, 52, and 18. What I'm getting with all these cards is people are saying that you've definitely made a comeback after a really difficult situation, and you've come back and you've bounced back from a lot of things that a lot of people didn't think you would sort of make it through. And you God sends you his favorite helpers, especially in the time of need when everyone has abandoned you, and therefore you always make a very strong comeback, and you're better than ever than you even were before. Pile number one. And people are saying, a lot of them are saying that you could have made some underhanded dealings, or even spiritually you could have made some pacts on all such nonsense, but you are anointed, you are chosen, and only the chosen ones suffer the most. So you're here to really rule the kingdom of earth. Pile number one. So also rest more. I think a lot of y'all need more rest, a lot of y'all need more sleep. I think that is also a very important thing over here. Pile number one. Full moons could be important. You could be very tapped in. Use the moon cycles to your advantage. You're meant to collect a lot of things. You're meant to have a lot in this lifetime. Pile number one, even if you weren't born with a lot, you will be leaving this earth with a lot of acquisitions. And I'm really not trying to keep your reading shallow. I'm just trying to say that materialism is important, and to truly be spiritual, a person's life can't be a mess. You can't be out of shape. You can't be broke. You know, you really have to have everything in place and in check. Even like our health, our finances, everything. It all has to be balanced. Only then can you truly even progress on the spiritual path. So, you're doing the hard work, and it's going to pay the results over a long period of time. And it's already paying results. And compared to people, who are just riding nothing basically. So you have real substance, and you will always have real substance. And I do think the older you get, you're going to achieve more compounded success. It's all just going to multiply. I really mean it, pile number one. So it's all good talk. People are really talking about you as this champion that you are. Yeah, that's all I have for pile number ones. Again, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest if you like my style of reading. Do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. If you're interested in learning witchcraft, tarot, astrology, you can send me an email to get more details. You can do the same if you want a personal reading from me, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number two. If you chose the Triumphi della Luna tarot, this is your reading on what is being said about you right now. What is the word on the street? What's the gossip on you? And even before we begin this reading, I do want to announce that 21st of November, I will be offering my witchcraft course. So if you're interested in learning witchcraft from me, you can definitely sign up. You can send me an email to get more details, or you can hit me up on my Instagram. I've uploaded a syllabus video. You can check that out. You can do the same if you want to learn astrology from me next year, 31st of January. And you can also hit me up for a personal reading. I am doing personal readings. I will also be looking at your birth chart as a part of the reading. Please do like the video, share, subscribe, comment, and now let's begin this reading on what is being said about you right now. We have the Two of Swords, we have the Queen of Swords, the Devil, Seven of Swords, Temperance, King of Coins, Four of Swords, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Definitely not a young soul, pile number two, that's what I'm getting over here. You're definitely an old soul. You've definitely been around. You definitely collected your karma over here, and this is not a lifetime for fun. This is not a lifetime for growth, but this is a lifetime for liberation for you. Whether you like it or not, you do have a karmic balance sheet that you need to clear, and a lot of the karma that you have to balance, that you will be balancing in this lifetime. And this is why I think the beginning of your life has been very, very difficult. I think you've had to experience a lot of difficulties growing up, and yet you have thrived, you have survived. You have been that beautiful plant that grows in the concrete despite the dust, lack of water, you know sun, all those things. You very successfully grow wherever you are. And this is what people are saying about you, that despite the horrible experiences that you've had to have, alongside the horrible things that you've had to deal with even in your childhood, you're coming out as the King of Pentacles and someone who's really created a kingdom for themselves. You're not even in your queen energy. Even if you're feminine or a woman, you're showing up in your king energy, and you are a king. And that's how you need to see yourself, my number two. I think that's really the message over here for you. And the more you start embodying your king energy, that is what is going to take you far, because people have deceived you. People have let you be indecisive on purpose. People have really left you high and dry. People, left you in the desert without water. But you do have God with you. You do have the goddess with you, and you have been, led to a better place always. So even when you lose everything, those were the things that you were supposed to lose. And I do think these are karmic things that you were supposed to let go of in this lifetime to truly have what is actually meant for you. So all the times that you fell in love, all the times that you trusted people, all the friends that you trusted that should not be trusted, you know, and I do get your pain. I know it's a lot. You could even have Saturn and Ketu, especially in the 11th house. I think you've really stuck out like a sore thumb in the collective. I don't think you've really gotten along with people. And there's just been a natural push towards you from the collective. But again, that is also karmic because you're supposed to be more focused on yourself, and you're supposed to help other people by being yourself more and radiating that very confident, comforting energy that you actually have by number two. So again, very difficult life lessons. People do talk about it, but you're riding the wave now. You've become the master, and the fortune is favoring you because you've been bold and you've created stability and peace for yourself. You've transformed yourself. You're not who you used to be. So people are very inspired by you. Even people that were bringing you down, they're definitely very, very inspired by you, and you do inspire people a lot to do better. And really, you spark up ambition in people that helps them go and do the things that they always wanted to do but they couldn't, or they thought it wouldn't be the right thing to do socially or whatever. So you don't just break the status quo and the norms. You help other people do the same. So you're a very dangerous agent in society's eyes. Therefore you're a very important and a very imperative power in terms of hierarchy and structures and the change of that. You're here to bring in and usher in that violent change. By number two, whether you like it or not, these are your powers. And the more you're able to use it, the stronger you will get, and the greater and the higher collective you will be able to impact. And this is your karma. You're here to help people, not by being selfless, but by being yourself, very assertively, very creatively, very artistically. Those are the things that you really need to embrace over here, and those are the things that will help you really grow. You are the king and the queen of transformation. You know how to change. You know how to completely transform yourself, and you've transformed so much that you can really take on whatever is needed at you. You're really like a shapeshifter over here, and you're very good at balancing and juggling a lot of things, especially if there are sudden changes. If you have a lot of sudden movements, right? Unexpected things, just disasters. You're very good at managing them. And this is also something people are gossiping about, how you almost have this very inbuilt inner sonar when it comes to trauma and like stress management, and handling yourself in very disastrous situations and coming out on top and winning and being the leader and also leading people very naturally. So you know conflict is where the growth is, especially for someone like you, and that's where you really even get to experience divinity the way you're supposed to experience by number two, because you're very close to goddess. You're very, very close to the divine, and you're here to have a direct experience of that, not just in knowing, not just in theory, not just in thoughts, but to actually feel it. So I do think that's like a major theme for you over here. Something about giving over here. So the more you give, the more you will get. And you are confident, but you're going to get more confident. Work on your abs, get strong. Even if there are things that are getting in the way, it really, really gets strong, because you're only getting more attractive, you're only getting hotter, you're only glowing up by number two, and people will always talk about you. And when you're more successful, people will talk about you more. When you're the best, people will talk about you the most. So, and no one wants to compete with someone that's mediocre, right? People want to compete with the best to become the best. So, you're really up there by number two, and that's how you should see yourself as such. And again, I'm getting something about conflicts, but conflicts is where you thrive, whether you like it or not, even if it's not in your nature. You know, you're here to ground things. You're here to really ground things and make things happen the way they need to happen, in a very grounded way, in a way that, you know, even helps other people deal with very disruptive change that you are good at. You're here to even teach people trauma response and stress response in very extreme times and conditions too. So even the words you say, your stories that you speak of, all these things really get embedded in people, and they get very inspired, and they're very hooked on you and what you have to say and everything that you have to offer. So I think a lot of people even fall in love with you, but I do think it's a part of your job that you have to do. The cards are really falling and I'm kind of over it. So again, the Temperance card fell. So you're very good at balancing yourself. You're very, very good at putting yourself back together the way you need to. And you're very much in touch with your higher self as well. So you know when something is required of you. You're really good at juggling really stressful situations, and even your own emotional regulation is really healthy. You could have a good moon placement over here. You have a solid moon placement, and this is why even if there's so much chaos around you, you don't budge, you don't move. Getting very fixed energy. Taurus moon, Cancer moon, Pisces moon, moon in the second, first, 12th, fourth. So you definitely have a very good moon placement over here, and those are the things that is going to really benefit you. And again, you have the balance of patience and impulsiveness. You know when something needs to grow, you know when something needs to start, and you know when you have to stabilize something and keep repeating till you really become perfect in what you do. So like I said, your inner sonar is really strong. You're in direct contact with your higher self. You're very, very close to the divine, and people might not always be able to see this, but they do see that there's a higher power guiding you. And the fact that you actually listen, if most people listen, they wouldn't have to suffer as much. We'll shuffle some oracle and see if we missed anything for pile number twos. We have card number 14, and it's this three witches, cooking something in the cauldron during an eclipse. So people want to know your recipe, people want to know your sauce, people want to know how you do what you do. How did you come to be in this position that you are at? And you have a very special path. No one is supposed to be like you, Palamba. And no one could even survive the things that you've had to survive, which is a lot of things. And the secret sauce, you don't have to give it to people. And even if you give it to people, they will not be able to replicate it because they don't have the same abilities. Just because someone has a spell book doesn't mean that they are a witch. And just because you don't have a spell book doesn't mean you're not a witch. So there is a lot of that energy with you, and I do think everything is within you. The source comes from within you, and you just get in alignment and you learn how to channel it into existence. So again, you do have that very feminine, receptive energy of just not making yourself naturally aligned to what you're trying to pull in. So this is like a super gift that you have, but people could just see this as, oh, he or she is very good at manifesting, but it's not that. It's much deeper, and people are really inspired. People want to, like I said, want to learn from you. So when you feel ready to teach, I think you really should, and I think that will also benefit you even more. Pile number 2. Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 2. Again, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If you like my style of reading, like the video, share, subscribe, comment. If you are interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, if you want a personal reading from me, you can send me an email or you can hit me up on my Instagram, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, this is your reading on what is being said about you right now, what are people saying, and what's the gossip on you. And even before we begin this reading, I do want to announce that 21st of November, I will be offering my highly anticipated witchcraft course. So if you're interested in learning witchcraft, if you're interested in learning the ways of the witch, come join the course. You can send me an email to get more details. So you can hit me up on my Instagram. I have uploaded a syllabus video for my witchcraft course, so you can check that out to see what I will be teaching in that. I'll also be offering an astrology course the coming year, 31st of January. And you can send me an email to get more details on that. It will be an astrology course for 2 months, along with my 2-month of witchcraft course. So come learn if you're very serious. And I'm also offering personal readings if you would like. I will look at your birth chart as a part of the reading. Please do like the video, share, subscribe, comment, and now let's begin this reading on what is being said about you right now. What's the gossip? Hello, pile number three. Okay, pile number three, we have the Ace of Cups, Death, Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, Ace of Swords, Four of Cups, Seven of Cups, Ten of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Seven of Swords. People are talking about how shrewd you've become. You've become very protective over your people and your subjects and the things that you do. And you have newfound love for yourself that you maybe didn't always have for yourself. I do think you're super critical. I do think you've been really hard on yourself. And I do think you've had a lot of enemies, but no one has been your bigger enemy than yourself. And it has taken you forever to get to be your best, to be your own best friend, to be your own soulmate. And that has led to extreme transformation that has led you to a lot of emotional fulfillment and fulfillment of your wishes. And you've become really strong, you've become really balanced within yourself, and you truly don't need people to feel complete within yourself. And all this work has happened over a long period of time, over years. And it's been slow, steady, continuous work that you've done on the self. And that is what is really paying off for you over here, pile number three. And this is what people are talking about. I do think a lot of people even want you, a lot of people desire you, but I don't think you're really taking on people's offers right now because you're kind of over it. You know that no cup being offered to you is good enough because you've had every kind of cup. So you're not being offered anything new. And this is a very deep spiritual revelation because when we realize this, we do realize that, all happiness is laced with suffering. And this is not depressing. Please don't get me wrong. We realize that in all desires, there's this incomplete feeling because even if we get what we want, we won't be as happy, or it won't last as long as we want it to, or it won't feel as good, right? So these things hamper us, and we're never truly happy. So the kind of happiness that we're chasing is a mirage, basically. And this is the higher spiritual truth, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't, right? And I do think you get it because of the kind of experiences that you've had to go through. It hasn't been easy. You've been transformed over and over again. We got Death and Ten of Swords, and here she's bleeding to death with 10 swords in her chest, but there's a plant that's growing, and that's a poppy plant that's growing. So you've had to sort of fertilize your dreams with your own blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And the emotional fulfillment that you've found, people want it. People don't understand how you're so happy in your own world. How are you so content? How are you so by yourself and living your best life? Because people cannot comprehend. People even kind of see you to be a little crazy because how could someone integrate all this trauma and become so good when all the things that you've had to experience would have really made you like a horrible, disgusting human being, but it hasn't. You've become quite the opposite. You've become the norm. You've become the standard that everyone should follow. So this is big stuff, pile number three, and I know this has not come easy. You've really had to have this success at a personal cost, but you understand that the transformation was needed. It was necessary, and you speak truth. Regardless of what you speak truth. It doesn't matter what you're saying. It's how you're saying it and who you're saying it to. It always resonates as truth to people. And I do think this is your divine mission. You could have Gemini in the third house. There's a connection with the second house and Gemini also. Even though I said the third house, I'm in the second house. Because there's something about your speech over here. Your speech will liberate people and it will make you money. You're here to master your speech in this lifetime. Very mercurial energy, but a very perfectionist kind of mercurial energy, the way it is in the sign of Virgo, you know. So I do think you're here to, really leave behind a legacy. And I do think pile number three, you're going to get really, really old and you're going to experience all phases and aspects of life. And you will really become the master of the material world. And you're meant to have a lot of friends, you're meant to have even a lot of lovers, to be very honest. You're not supposed to just be with one partner, one soulmate. You're meant to have many, many soulmates. And, you will grow richer as experience and you will also grow richer in your bank account. So you really haven't promised a fulfilled life over here, and that's why you've had to experience these very extremes that you've had to go through, and you've had to learn to balance yourself. You've had to learn to balance the elements within yourself. You've had to learn to make contact with your higher self. But again, these spiritual things are only here to help you more in your material world. You're not here in this lifetime to focus just merely on the spiritual. You're here to enjoy your material pleasures, particularly pile number three. And only when you enjoy your material pleasures, you will be truly freed from it, and you will reach that point of, okay, there's nowhere to go but to transcend all of this. So that's just the natural trajectory that you're following, and you know, your heaven is in the material right now. Your heaven is on earth right now, and it's a channeled song by Britney. So listen to that. It's one of my favorite songs on the Blackout album, and it's one of the songs that she personally wrote. So I do think that song is kind of important, and even just you creating your own heaven on earth, and not like depending on someone else for it to feel that way, but you making it feel like paradise all the time anyway. And I think that's when you will also be attracting in the right people. And I do think you are under a lot of pressure. I do think there are a lot of things that are going on right now. You're being called to show emotional maturity. You're not supposed to crash out. You're supposed to, really not even chase, just magnetize and keep to yourself. The more exclusive you are, the less you share your energy, the more it drives people crazy and the more impatient people get. So you do have that very celebrity like energy. Again, I'm getting the Nishta Nakshatra. Strong Dhanishta Nakshatra. So the last degrees of Capricorn, the critical degrees of Capricorn. You're really here to, leave a legacy behind. And people are talking about this. People are talking about how, what a worker you are and what work ethic you have and how you always succeed because you're so involved in the process and you're so involved in the flow of things that you are truly the best. You're not focusing on the results. You're not focusing on the final goal. You're so lost in the process itself that is what separates you from everyone else in what you do. And the more confident you are about that, the more victories you will have. It's you sort of have to create this positive loop for yourself. And the more you create it, the more opportunities will also come in. Because just of the emotional maturity you've shown, because of this, integrity that you've shown to yourself, and you actually listening to the vow that you made to your higher self. People are also talking about how you're going after new projects and you're succeeding at everything you do. Anything you touch right now becomes gold. So enjoy this time. You've earned this time and you're supposed to grow this way. You're supposed to have all these accolades and harmony in your life right now. And all of this is leading to a lot of abundant financial stability. So just plan things the way you want them to be, and they will. Things are really manifesting for you the way you want to. And people could even say that, and I think they're saying that right now, how you always get what you want so easily. But it's not just that, you're very aligned to your actual desires and destiny. And what you truly want is what you're supposed to experience. So those things are very karmic for you. That's why they come to you very easy. It's just you are in complete alignment and you go the extra mile to keep yourself in alignment. Mile number three. And that is what separates you from other people. And I don't know what's with the cards today. They're all jumpy today. Yeah, card number 36. You defeated all your enemies. People also talking about that. You've really defeated all your enemies. And you're just looking back at all the enemies that you've had and you're realizing your strength combined, then all of them together. And I'm not saying you won't have new enemies and new mountains to conquer. You absolutely will. But take a minute to smell the roses, because you've reached far and you're meant to go even farther. So things don't really stop. You're meant to keep growing. There's no real end to your own personal growth over here. Pile number three. And I think you understand that, and that's what you're chasing. And this is what really drives people crazy about you. And this is why people can't even keep up with you because they're just not inspired by their deep soul. They just don't have that craving within their soul to go after things the way you do. And this is what sets you apart from other people. And this is the secret sauce, your secret sauce, even if people think it's something complicated or some, some deal you made with some devil. It's all nonsense. It's the proof is in the pudding and the work is in the, it's in the work. So You're winning. Pile number 3. You're soaring, and that's what people are really talking about over here. Anything else? That's all I have for pile number 3. Signature general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If you like my style of reading, like the video, share, subscribe, comment. If you want a personal reading from me, if you are interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, you can send me an email to get more details, and I will see you guys on the next reading. Thank you.